Your ego is hurting your business when you start to believe that you already know everything and stop learning from others. Welcome to the Voice of Detailing. Now, I created this podcast to help new and upcoming detailers find their way through the multiverse of detailing. Now, I've been accused of this before, and I had to step back and figure out why someone would say that about me or about anyone in general. And it was actually from a few videos that showed our process and our methods, and they offered a different approach. However, the different approach that was suggested was one that we had already tried in the past, and it didn't really make a difference to us. Now, I've had people comment about our wash methods, our polishing methods, our ceramic coating application methods, and so on. So to answer them, I explained why we do what we do in great detail, describing why we either don't or won't do something that they suggested because we tried it before and it didn't really work for us, or I found a better way, and how it really wouldn't help us in our business. This, however, was not taken very well by those people. Because I didn't take their advice and listen to them, they thought I was unprofessional and ungrateful for not listening to them. Now, I felt bad for a few moments, thinking, did I miss something? Was I wrong for thinking that our methods worked for us, so there was no need to change? So here's what we did. The suggestions that those people gave us, we tried out, again, just to make sure that we didn't miss anything. Do you know what we found? We found that we had already done those things long ago. When we first started our detailing business, we had to go through a lot of trial and error. We learned what we could from the few detailing channels out there at the time and had to try things for ourselves. It took years of practice and figuring out what works for us and what doesn't. And many of the methods that we learned from other detailers at the time, we simply adopted into our ways and even tweaked them slightly to work better for us. Thus, our own standard operating procedure was born. Now, I understand that some people want to help others and give advice, but comments on social media or YouTube is not the right forum for this. Let's use some logic here. Can you really get to know someone through social media? Can you really see everything going on behind the scenes in a YouTube video? Can you really determine from a few minutes of video the whole story? I'll just leave those questions there for you to ponder on. For me, I never try to correct someone on social media or YouTube. Even if I see something that doesn't seem right, or I know for a fact that I have done it that way before and found that it really wasn't good, or I learned to do it a better way, is it my responsibility to let them know that they're doing it wrong or incorrectly? Do I have the authority to tell other people, without proper inquiry, that they're doing something incorrectly and that they should do it another way or my way? Now, some think that they have an obligation to correct people. After all, how would those wrongdoers ever know that they were wrong unless they had a savior to tell them? Does that sound reasonable, or does it sound fanatical? Now remember, we're talking about detailing, something trivial, something that is superficial, not something extremely important here. So why do people feel this need to offer unsolicited advice that in truth offers no real benefit to anyone? Now, I've had some people leave comments that did offer a different perspective, and those tips and advice I thank people for, because it was simply a differing opinion or tip that could in fact help me or other detailers. And I love it when people offer other tips and advice, as long as it is not pushed as a rule or a better way of doing something. In detailing, there are many ways to accomplish a task that will have the same results. True, some tasks could be done quicker and more efficiently, but it's not up to someone on the outside to dictate that your methods or products or procedures are wrong or incorrect. You may not know everything that that person is doing or has done in the past that has led them to their decisions. So if you feel the uncontrollable need to correct people, there's a way to do it that not only shows respect for that person, but possibly may help others who see that comment. Instead of pointing out what you think you see as wrong, which maybe it could be to a certain degree, and coming up with a solution or a correction, encourage them, compliment them, and simply tell them how you do it in your business and how you got great results. Now, this may take some skill to word correctly and respectfully, but take your time and think it through. Remember, you don't have all the info. You don't know the entire situation. You don't know their experience level. You don't know the variables. You don't know that person at all. So your words must show that respect and understanding. Otherwise, your ego may get the best of you. Now, it's not egotistical to have years of knowledge and experience and share that with others. But what happens when the same person pushes that knowledge upon others who don't want it or need it, declaring, "This is the way and the only way, and if you do it any other way, it is inherently wrong"? That's when ego will ruin the advice. Ego has no place in detailing. In fact, detailing is very humbling. Sometimes a vehicle is beyond your ability to control. You may be dealing with thin, scratched paint that is beyond your ability to correct. That happens. You just don't always see it on YouTube. Detailers don't like to show the failures or the jobs that they can't fix with polishing, or cloth seats with stains that will never come out and they need to be re-dyed or reupholstered. That can be humbling. Those situations are out of a detailer's control. However, when you are facing seemingly similar situations and almost everything comes out perfectly, it's an incredible feeling. But that feeling should be accompanied by the humble acknowledgement that it was simply a matter of circumstances. True, you may have some skills. You may be able to accomplish some incredible detailing miracles, but you can't fix every vehicle with detailing. Now, I try my best to answer people graciously and accurately. I want to help new detailers figure out methods and products and procedures that work for them. I want to show them options, give them choices, give them the opportunity to experience things for themselves. And I hope that detailers watching our videos don't just copy what we do. I hope they don't just take our word for it. I hope that they try other methods for themselves. Detailing evolves, it changes, but not in the way that some detailers think. It's not about new tools and products. It's about learning more efficient methods and techniques. It's about tackling new situations in both older and newer vehicles, learning how to improve productivity in your business, building a client base that will keep your detailing business sustainable, and lots more. Situations will change over time, and detailers need to adapt and learn to be flexible. Speaking of flexible, do you have a flexible SOP? An SOP is just a standard operating procedure. But what is a flexible SOP? I'll talk about that in another podcast. If you have any other topics you'd like me to discuss, please let me know in the comments. Until next time, thanks for listening.